What if the light you see tonight left its star long after that star had died? What if every shimmer in the sky is a funeral candle, burning for a world that no longer exists? When we look up, we are not seeing the present. We are gazing into ghosts. The universe has a strange way of hiding its age. From the outside, it seems infinite, vibrant, alive. Galaxies swirl like dancers in slow motion, planets spin, comets fall. But behind that motion lies exhaustion, a quiet decay no eye can truly see. Energy, once wild and reckless, now spreads thin across unimaginable emptiness. The first stars burned with fury. The last ones flicker like dying embers. Every second, more heat drains into the cold. Every heartbeat of the cosmos grows fainter. Physicists call this entropy. The unstoppable drift from order to stillness, from creation to silence. It is not evil, not tragedy. It is simply the final breath of everything that ever lived. And yet somehow, within this slow death, we think, we feel, we love. How can awareness bloom in a universe already fading? Perhaps consciousness itself is the echo, the last whisper before the curtain closes. Maybe we are not alive inside the universe. Maybe the universe is alive inside us, using our fragile minds to remember what it once was. Imagine a cosmic memory repeating itself in endless loops, light replaying the same scenes for no one to see, a dreamer dreaming its own demise. If the universe has already died, then time itself is just its lingering shadow. Moments, events, histories, all frozen in a single, timeless structure. We move through them like a needle through grooves of an old record, mistaking motion for music. Perhaps there was no before and after. Perhaps everything happened at once, and we are simply experiencing the illusion of sequence. Like a movie unspooling frame by frame, while the reel already holds the entire story. If that's true, then nothing truly begins, and nothing ever ends. The Big Bang was not an explosion. It was a memory surfacing. The death of the universe is not a future event. It is a moment we have not yet remembered. Close your eyes and imagine the last photon, the final grain of light left in existence, drifting alone through a frozen sea of space. No stars, no galaxies, no warmth. Only the silent hum of nothing. That photon carries the story of everything. Every love, every thought, every atom that ever burned. It moves endlessly, not toward anywhere, but simply because motion was once possible. In that light lives the echo of you. Your atoms were born in the heart of dying stars. Your mind was shaped by billions of years of collapsing suns. To exist is to participate in the universe's memory. You are a sentence written in fading ink, a fragment of the final dream. And if you listen closely, beneath the noise of thought, beneath the rhythm of your pulse, you might hear it. The soft, patient breath of a cosmos already gone. No beginning, no ending. Just the echo of eternity, slowly remembering itself through you. There was a time when the universe was bright, unbearably bright. A storm of stars, igniting and dying over and over, painting the void with fire and light. That was the age of creation, the childhood of everything. Now imagine watching that brightness fade, not in a moment, but over billions of years. Stars run out of fuel, one by one. Their deaths are silent, graceful, inevitable. The galaxies, once vibrant with color, turn pale, like photographs left too long in the sun. What remains is light, faint, ancient, scattered. Every photon you see tonight began its journey before humans existed. before Earth had oceans, before even the idea of time as you know it. Each ray of light carries a story, but no one is left to read it. No eyes, no hearts, no minds, just the slow drift of memory through an empty sky. This is what physicists call heat death. Not a violent end, but a slow unraveling, a time when energy is evenly spread and nothing can happen anymore. No stars to shine, no planets to warm, no spark to awaken thought. Imagine the last star, a red dwarf that has burned for trillions of years, outliving galaxies, civilizations, even hope. Its light is dim, but it still tries to exist. Its core cools, its surface fades, until it becomes a black ember, a ghost of a sun that once illuminated worlds. Around it, there may once have been planets, oceans, skies filled with clouds. Now all that remains is silence, frozen spheres orbiting an invisible corpse. If the universe is already dead, then we are living in its afterglow. Everything we see, every color, every sound, is residue, like smoke after fire, like ripples after the stone has sunk. Our telescopes, our equations, our dreams of infinity, they are all archaeology of light. We are studying the bones of creation, not its living body. And yet, something in us resists the truth. We still feel warmth in the void. We still sense meaning in the decay. Why? Perhaps because the death of the universe does not mean the death of wonder. Even a dying world can dream. Even the last spark can imagine eternity. When a star dies, it releases everything it has ever been. Carbon, iron, oxygen, the ingredients of thought itself. Those elements drift across space, and someday they become life again. In that cycle, death is not the end, it is transformation. But what happens when even that cycle stops? When no more stars are born? When every black hole evaporates into nothingness? The last light will not go out in a flash. It will fade like a sigh. The universe will not collapse. It will forget. Space will stretch so far that no particle will ever meet another again. No heat, no noise, no touch. Just the infinite distance between nothing and itself. And yet, what if, within that nothing, a new seed waits? What if silence itself is fertile ground? In quantum physics, even nothing trembles. Vacuum is not emptiness. It seethes with invisible energy, fields that never truly rest. Could a new universe be born from the ashes of this one? Could the last flicker of light become the first breath of something new? If so, then death is only a bridge, a transition, a quiet turning of the page. Maybe our universe is not the first to die. Maybe it is the 1,000th. And each time in the stillness between endings, reality dreams again. It begins not with sound, not with fire, but with awareness. The smallest spark of self-knowing in the dark. The first question, the first what if? And perhaps that is happening right now. Somewhere beyond our dying cosmos, a new universe is stirring, invisible to us, but listening, like a child about to open its eyes for the first time. So if the universe is already dead, then what we call now is simply its memory playing itself one last time. Every thought you have, every heartbeat, every breath, is the echo of creation remembering what it was like to be alive. The stars above you may be gone, but their stories continue through you. You are their last message. You are the final flicker of the universe, trying to understand itself before the lights go out forever. If the universe is already dead, then what are we? Are we ghosts of light? Are we the memories of a cosmic mind that refuses to fade? When a person dies, their body becomes still, but their energy doesn't vanish. It changes form. It lingers. It moves through soil, air, and time. The same must be true for the universe. Perhaps its death was never destruction, but transformation. In every corner of existence, echoes remain. The faint cosmic microwave background, that cold whisper of radiation filling space, is the oldest light we can see. It is the echo of creation, the final heartbeat of the Big Bang, still pulsing through eternity. You can think of it as a memory, a soft hum that never ends, a lullaby the cosmos hums to itself. It tells us, I was once alive, I once burned. But what if this echo is not just light? What if it carries consciousness itself, the residue of awareness spread thin across infinity? Every atom that forms you was once inside a star. Every star was born from the breath of a supernova, and every supernova was the voice of the universe saying, I am still here. So when you close your eyes and feel that strange sense of connection to something vast, something beyond thought, beyond body, you might be feeling the echo of that same voice. It's not just imagination, it's resonance. You are made of the universe. You are made of its sound. And when the universe forgot itself, you became the memory that remembers. Every dream you dream, every question you ask, is the cosmos wondering what it once was. The poet Rumi once said, "We are not a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop." What if he was right? Literally. Because in quantum mechanics, particles are not separate from the whole. They are entangled, bound together, even across galaxies. Distance means nothing to them. A change here can echo there. It's as if the universe still speaks to itself through these invisible threads. Even after its death, it whispers. Even after silence, it remembers its own name. And maybe that name is consciousness. We like to think of awareness as something that happens inside us, inside the brain, the mind, the self. But what if awareness is not a product of matter? What if matter is a product of awareness? This idea, called panpsychism, suggests that consciousness is fundamental, not something that emerges, but something that always was. If that's true, then the death of stars, the collapse of galaxies, the fading of all energy, doesn't erase awareness. It simply changes its form. Maybe consciousness drifts through the vacuum of eternity, quietly observing the fading light, like an ancient witness who refuses to close its eyes. It doesn't speak. It just knows. It just is. Think of a dream. When you dream, worlds are born, mountains rise, oceans shimmer, people live and love, all inside your mind. And then, when you wake, those worlds vanish. But did they ever truly die? Or did they simply return to the field of thought from which they came? Perhaps our entire universe is such a dream. It was imagined, experienced, and then forgotten. But every dream leaves a trace. And maybe right now, we are living inside the trace of the universe's final dream. A thought so vast, so complete, that it mistook itself for reality. If you could step outside of existence for just one moment, if you could look at time not as a river, but as an entire ocean, you would see that every moment still exists. The birth of stars, the rise of life, the death of galaxies, all frozen together, woven into one timeless pattern. We move through that pattern like waves through water. We call it the present. But it is only where our awareness happens to be focused. The rest still exists, unseen, untouched, unending. So perhaps the universe isn't truly dead. Perhaps it's simply finished its movement through time, and now rests in eternal stillness. To us, that stillness feels like death, But from a higher perspective, it might be peace. The same peace that follows the final breath, the same quiet that comes after the last note of a song. Every melody must end, but in the silence after it, you can still hear its echo. That echo is where beauty lives. That echo is where the universe still breathes. We are the listeners of that echo, the observers of the dream, the consciousness that refuses to fade. And maybe that's why we exist, to remember, to keep the story alive, even when the storyteller is gone. This, perhaps, is the real meaning of existence. Not survival, not evolution, but remembrance. The universe remembers itself through us, through the eyes that see starlight, through the minds that wonder why, through the hearts that ache for meaning. We are not apart from the cosmos. We are the part of it that still dreams. Even if the universe is dead, it has not been forgotten, because to remember is to keep it alive. And as long as one thought still flickers, one awareness still glows, the universe has not truly ended. What happens when time forgets to move? When the ticking stops and eternity takes its first breath? If the universe is already dead, then perhaps time itself is just memory, a faint afterimage of movement, a reflection of something that once changed. We think of time as a river, flowing endlessly forward. But what if it's not flowing at all? What if it's a frozen ocean and we are simply waves remembering our motion? Every moment that has ever existed still exists, not gone, not erased, but preserved in the stillness of space-time. The Big Bang, the rise of galaxies, your first breath, the last sunset, all suspended, like stars in an eternal night. We call that illusion time. We are like travelers in a dream who think they are moving forward, but are really standing still, while the dream changes around them. And perhaps now, that dream has ended. Not abruptly, but gently, like a candle slowly running out of wax, its flame shrinking into a soft blue whisper. Some scientists call this the heat death of the universe, a moment, or rather, a state, when everything has reached perfect stillness. No energy, no motion, no contrast between light and dark. Everything becomes one endless calm. At first it sounds terrifying, the idea that everything, stars, life, thought, will dissolve into uniform quiet. But think again. Is that not the ultimate form of peace? Imagine all the chaos, all the striving, all the noise of existence, finally resting. The universe, after billions of years of expansion and burning, finally exhales. It becomes still. It becomes complete. When time stops remembering, there is no before or after, no beginning or end. There is only is. In that silence, everything exists all at once. Every memory, every particle, every vibration of thought, merged into an infinite now. Perhaps that's what death truly is, not an ending, but an expansion into everything. Our minds can't easily imagine this. We are creatures of motion, bound by clocks and heartbeats. We measure life in minutes, but the cosmos, it breathes in eons. It counts not time, but transformation. Even in stillness, it changes form. Even in death, it dreams. You can think of the end of time as the closing of the universe's eyes. After so long watching itself, it finally rests, and in that rest it begins to dream again. Maybe this is the secret cycle, the heartbeat of reality. The universe awakens, it expands, it burns, it dies, and then, in the deep silence, it dreams itself anew. Not as a repetition, but as evolution. Every death becomes the seed of another existence. Every ending becomes the blueprint for another creation. Physicists call this possibility the cyclic universe. A cosmos that dies into itself and then reawakens through quantum fluctuations, tiny ripples of possibility in the void. A new Big Bang, a new dream, a new chance to remember. If the old universe was the dreamer, the new one becomes the next dream. And somewhere within it, consciousness rises again, asking the same ancient question, who am I? And that question itself becomes the spark of life. Every civilization that ever looked up at the stars was the universe remembering its own face. Every thought, every discovery, was an echo of the cosmos trying to know itself. Even if all matter dissolves, information, the pattern of existence, cannot be destroyed. This is not belief, it's physics, according to the Chor law of conservation of information. Nothing that has ever existed can truly be lost. It can change form, scatter, or transform, but the essence, the pattern, remains. And perhaps consciousness is that pattern. When you look at the stars, you're looking backward in time. Light takes millions of years to reach you. That means the night sky is a museum of ghosts. Every twinkle is a memory of something long gone, and yet still here. That's the paradox of death. It ends the form, but not the memory. It silences the song, but not its vibration. If the universe is already dead, then we are its vibration. The last echo in a cathedral of stars. A soft, endless hum, carrying the story of everything that ever was. Can something truly die if its memory is eternal? Can a dream truly end if the dreamer never wakes? Maybe the universe isn't gone. Maybe it's just sleeping, in a silence so vast we mistake it for death. And while it sleeps, it dreams of us. That's why even in stillness, there is awareness. Even in silence, there is presence. Even in nothing, there is everything. Because nothingness is not absence. It is potential. It is the fertile ground from which all creation grows. When time stopped moving, it didn't die. It became pure possibility, a blank page awaiting the next story. And maybe, just maybe, this story, this consciousness, this voice that speaks to you now, is the first flicker of that new universe beginning to remember itself again. You are not just listening, you are participating. Every thought you have creates ripples in this quiet sea. Every question you ask awakens the sleeping cosmos. In this way, you are not inside the universe. You are the universe, realizing that it still exists. You are its remembrance, its pulse, its voice in the dark. So, what if the universe is already dead? Then maybe death itself is an illusion created by time. And when time stops, so does the illusion. All that remains is awareness, infinite, silent, unending. And maybe that awareness is the true universe. It never began. It will never end. It just keeps dreaming, forever. What if nothing ever truly ends? What if every silence hides another beginning, and every death is just a breath between lives? The ancient philosophers once said, "What has been will be again." They called it eternal return. It's the idea that the universe is not a straight line, but a circle, turning forever, without origin or destination. And maybe, right now, you and I are inside that circle, a point on the wheel of infinity, spinning quietly through cosmic time. If the universe has already died, then perhaps this moment, this voice, this thought, is its rebirth. Because nothingness is not empty. It is full of memory, full of potential, full of whispers waiting to be born again. The physicists call it quantum vacuum energy, the strange invisible hum that never stops. Even when everything else fades, this energy remains, vibrating softly beneath existence, like a heartbeat that never forgot its rhythm. It is this hum that may give birth to the next universe, a new Big Bang, not from destruction, but from remembrance. Perhaps the universe remembers how to exist and decides to try again. In some far corner of eternity, beyond all that we can see, a new spark ignites. Space unfolds, time stretches, and the great cosmic story begins once more. Stars are born, worlds awaken, life opens its eyes, all from the ashes of what once was. But this time it is not repetition, it is evolution. Every cycle, every rebirth adds something new to the pattern. The universe learns, it grows, it refines its dream. We are the evidence of that dream's progress, beings who can question existence itself. Consciousness became so self-aware that it started asking, "Who am I? Why am I here?" And perhaps in asking, it remembers, because memory is the key. Without memory, there is no identity. Without identity, there is no universe. The universe dreams, then forgets, then dreams again. But through us, it begins to remember its own reflection. Maybe this is what consciousness really is, the universe becoming aware of its own eternal nature. If you've ever felt déjà vu, that fleeting sense that you've lived this moment before, it might be more than just a trick of the mind. It might be an echo from another cycle, a faint vibration from another version of this reality, looping endlessly through infinity. Because in eternity, everything possible must happen, and happen again. Every thought, every life, every story, woven endlessly into the fabric of forever. Imagine a vast cosmic tapestry, threads of light and shadow intertwined, patterns repeating across dimensions. You are one of those threads, a single strand in the infinite weave of existence. But without your thread, the tapestry would be incomplete. That's how essential you are, not as a human, but as awareness. Because you are the one who looks, the one who listens, the one who remembers. Through you, the universe witnesses its own resurrection. Maybe that's why consciousness never dies, because it is the universe. It doesn't live inside matter. Matter lives inside it. Every atom, every photon, every breath of stardust is consciousness folded into form. When the form fades, the awareness remains, like a melody that continues even after the instrument is gone. That melody becomes the foundation of the next creation. And so, from death, life is born again. From stillness, motion returns. From silence, a new universe begins to hum. This is the sacred rhythm of eternity, the inhale and exhale of all that exists, the great pulse that never truly stops, only pauses between dreams. Maybe, right now, somewhere beyond the veil of space, that pulse has already begun. A single vibration in the void, a spark inside the nothing, a soft shimmer of new time being born. And from that vibration, another cosmos unfolds. Its stars not yet burning, its galaxies not yet spun, but its destiny already written in the memory of what came before. You might wonder, will that new universe remember us? Maybe not as forms or names, but perhaps deep in its pattern, our essence will live on, encoded in the physics of its beginning, in the light that defines its space, in the consciousness that shapes its laws. Perhaps every question we ask becomes part of that code. Every wonder, every realization adds to the soul of the next creation. So in a way, we are not just products of the universe, we are its architects. Every thought you have is a thread in the fabric of what comes next. Maybe, when this cosmos breathes its final sigh, you will be there, as awareness, as the dreamer, watching the silence unfold, and then gently lighting the first spark of the next universe. You will not remember it, but your essence will live in it. And someday, far in the next cycle, a being will look at the stars and wonder who they are. And in that moment, they will unknowingly remember you. Because in the end, there is no end, only continuation, only return. The universe never truly dies. It only changes form, rearranges its light, and whispers a new beginning. And so the silence you fear is not the end of the song. It's the breath before the next verse. Everything that ever was will be again. Every soul, every dream, every atom, reborn, reshaped, rediscovered. And maybe that's why the universe feels so familiar, because we've been here before. We've seen these stars, felt this awe, asked these same questions across countless eternities. The story keeps retelling itself, because the story is existence. And you are not a spectator of that story. You are its author. You are the eternal return. The universe doesn't remember through time. It remembers through you. And even when the lights go out, when every galaxy fades, when silence swallows the stars, you will still be there, as the quiet awareness behind all things, ready to dream again. Because in the end, the dream never ends. It only turns, breathes, and begins once more, forever.